surprising result, Nigel reo-coker. Inter Milan winning by a 1-0 against Barcelona.
What a surprising result that messed up my my picks for this week. Really messed up my picks. And I'm sure that pretty much everyone there went with a Barcelona win. I don't think anyone felt that Inter could get this win. But, you know, they got the job done. I think for me, Barcelona for me today were, I don't even know how to describe them. They played some fantastic football, pretty on the eyes, but no bite, no nothing. And it was all Dembele. Everything was Dembele. They were trying to make him create everything, and he was trying his best to make something happen. They couldn't get Lewandowski in the game at all. Inter defended well. Typical traditional Inter. Kind of reminded me a bit of the Inter under Conte. Played on the counter-attack as much as they can, and there were times when Barcelona were vulnerable. And for me, you'd have to say that's a big, big loss for Barcelona. Really and truly. And what we can also do is we can question when Barcelona have played teams in that 1% bracket, the Bayern Munichs, the Inter Milans, they've struggled. They haven't got the wins. They've really struggled against teams that you'd say are their namesake. And they haven't been able to overcome these situations. And no surprise, I'm sure Jonathan's not going to be happy about this, no surprise that Messi's allegedly leaving on a free in the summer to go back to Barcelona because they need someone like a Lionel Messi. Because for me, again, at that level of football, we're so used to seeing the pretty football that everyone passes and has passages of play. But Barcelona really lacking creativity in that final third and become very one-dimensional. Any good organized team at the top of their game will be able to beat this Barcelona side, in my opinion.
Wow. Big point.
I mean, I think the thing as well that people forget about this Barca side is it's still a work in progress. Yes, they've added some very impressive pieces, and yes, they're capable of playing some great stuff at times, as Nigel said. But in terms of sort of the cohesion, the chemistry, you know, the understanding each other's way of playing and, you know, buying into, you know, Xavi's vision for the future, that's going to take time. And I think that's why, you know, as Nigel rightly said, you know, they are going to struggle when they come up against the best organized teams and, you know, the teams that can sort of look equal to them, you know, on paper and have had a bit longer, you know, playing with the same group of players under the same coach. You know, I don't have any doubts that, you know, Barcelona will start to get it, you know, put it back together given the quality of the players that they can put out on the pitch. But it is going to take time. I mean, I think the Messi rumors, they were inevitable to flare up. And, you know, I think we'll see them and hear a lot about them, you know, quite often between now and the end of the year, especially with the World Cup coming up and Messi in fantastic form, you know, but also at the same time, I think part of what this process is for Barca right now is moving away from that decorated history, not, you know, trying to embrace it, you know, trying to relive it, getting nostalgic one last time. You know, I still think that it is for the best if Barca move on from the likes of the Busquets, you know, the PKs, the Jordi Albas, you know, and perhaps, and it's not, you know, me being selfish. I don't think for 1 minute, you know, that Messi will finish his career in Paris. It's been great having him back to something close to his best this season. It was pretty difficult watching last season for a number of reasons, not just Messi, you know, but I think bringing Messi back, you know, will not be a sort of, you know, anything but a short-term boost to this Barca side. In terms of making progress over the medium and long term, they have to persevere with this group of players, work out, you know, the sort of fine-tuning, you know, that's necessary to make them a real competitor moving forward.
Quickly, JJ, just before Ian jumps in. So obviously we just discussed about, you just said Barcelona moving on, and I agree with you. But do you not think bringing Messi back will be the wrong thing to do again? Whether it's being used for shirt sales or whatever it is. I've just witnessed the same thing happen at Manchester United, bringing back a club legend in Cristiano Ronaldo, and that has not gone well. It hasn't gone as how the club wanted or how the fans wanted. Isn't there a big chance, again, it can happen the same way with Barcelona? Because when you bring someone like Lionel Messi back to that club, with the young players you're trying to bring as the next generation, next people to come through, if Lionel Messi makes a mistake on the pitch, what player in their right mind could say anything to him? Is that not going to make the players play within themselves and kind of disrupt the atmosphere and the camaraderie you might have?
Yeah, but wouldn't it happen already, Nigel, when you've got Busquets and Alaba and all these other guys sitting on the bench?
It wouldn't happen already
training
because
grounds.
you don't have Lionel Messi. There's a difference when you say Lionel Messi's names, and that's no disrespect to Busquets and Alaba and all them. Yes, they'll go, but this is Lionel Messi. It's a different level. When imagine if Dembele makes a mistake and then wants to say, or Lionel Messi makes a mistake and Dembele is the creator or the attacking player. what could he say to Lionel Messi?
What can he say to
And why would Messi
Lewandowski?
respect? That's what I'm saying. So it's a risk. It's a big gamble. I understand what JJ is saying, but for me personally, I feel that's a gamble that can completely backfire.
Yeah,
I'm
and
interested.
I agree with that, and it just sounds like Ian agrees as well. It's I think Messi in that situation would do well to look at Cristiano Ronaldo's attempted return to Manchester United, look at what it would mean for him, from a personal point of view as well as a collective point of view, because I'm sure that the attachment to Barca remains strong, and the sort of desire to go back and have a proper farewell would be there. But also at the same time, I think it sounds like there's still a lot of stuff that Messi wants to tick off on his box before finishing his career, going back to playing in Argentina. There's been strong links with Major League Soccer as well. He has a lot of options available to him. And if I was him, I'd probably wait and see what goes on at the World Cup before thinking about anything. And that includes whether he stays at PSG or goes somewhere else to try something new before his legs give up on him.
Yeah, I think we must not forget that Messi didn't want to leave Barcelona. He wanted to stay at Barcelona. He was pushed out the door from that football club. So, his heart and his soul, I'm sure, is still at that football club. But I agree with both of you there. It's difficult to go back. It's always difficult to go back because it's a different project now, completely different. There's been players who, since Messi has left the club, have been at Barcelona and since gone. It's crazy to think what's happened at that football club since he has departed there. And now he's actually performing well. He seems very, very happy, coming out to the media last week saying this is the happiest he's been for a very long time. And a World Cup coming up tells me that Lionel Messi, with his contract running out, JJ, Lionel Messi is going to be well and truly up for this, because whatever it is that he wants to do, I can only imagine it won't work out too well for other teams at the World Cup. It won't work out well for many teams who are trying to sign him, because I'm sure he will do exactly what he wants to do. If it's a Barcelona return, he's going to go there. But I wouldn't rule out him staying in Paris either, because he looks like he's enjoying his football and they got money to spend at the end of the day.
I'll rule that out in a heartbeat. He's definitely not staying in Paris. This is his last swan song. Sorry, JJ. He's had enough wine already. He can get wine from Argentina. He ain't staying in Paris.
Maybe not.
I agree with you, Ian. I think more than likely, like you said, I think the Barcelona one is the stronger desire. He did not want to leave Barcelona. If he can do what he does at Paris Saint-Germain, if by some way that they win the Champions League, he would have to say it's objective done. And I don't think Paris Saint-Germain fans will be offended or upset if he leaves to go back to Barcelona. It's the club that he's known the most from how long? From when he was 10 years old or 11 years old when he first went there. And he would want a proper send-off.
Oh, as long as you come over to Paris to fill the void left by Messi, Nigel, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, just so you can go and drink all the wine, Nigel, over there that he's not drinking when he departs. Let's touch upon Inter before we move on from this game, because we obviously talk a lot about Barcelona and the way they've actually got themselves back to the top of the tree in the Liga. They're sitting pretty right now. Lewandowski scoring goals. And I will say this, Nigel, Barcelona had 50 crosses in the game today. 50 crosses. And couldn't put one in the back of the net. But Inter Milan, credit to them. Nobody put money on them to win this game except for Inter Milan fans. We all kind of criticized in many ways. The defense, frustrating, obviously, offensively. Lukaku not there. What's going on chemistry-wise? But Çalhanoğlu comes up with a banger from distance, his first Champions League goal since 2016, and they win that game. So can we at least, JJ, say Inter Milan have still got a lot to offer? They're 6 points right now in the group.
Yeah, I mean, they showed that they're still fighting for Inzaghi, and I think that's a big statement considering that there were rumors that, if Inter do lose, then Inzaghi gets the chop. I think it would have been harsh to have judged him on a bad result against Barca, given the individual quality Barca have. But also at the same time, this was a really, really impressive showing, from Inter. Like Nigel said, it's kind of a throwback to the Conte era performances, and I think it does still suggest that Inter have got, a bit left in the tank that they can give. And perhaps we see Inzaghi, hang on to his job by the skin of his teeth a little bit, similar to Lopetegui in recent weeks, and perhaps see it out at least until the World Cup and then see where Inter are there. But if they can, sort of replicate that kind of performance domestically, they could, find themselves in a better position in Serie A, come the break for the World Cup. But, I think at the end of the day, just in isolation, this is just one good performance and one good result. They need to start stringing this together. Otherwise, it doesn't really count for anything.
Anything,
Yeah,
Nigel?
I think just to add to what Jonathan said, he's right. I think for me, when I saw that performance there, that was a performance for the manager. They were all fighting for the cause. They knew what at stake. But the other way you can look at it as well is sometimes as football players, they raise the occasion because it's Barcelona. But like Jonathan said, they need to show that same desire domestically, week in, week out, that same fight and that same spirit week in, week out. If Inzaghi is going to be safe for the long term, it's all okay to raise it for the big boys, but you need to raise it for the teams that you're so-called better than, or the lesser teams, and you don't lose. That same desire and application needs to be shown. It's a big win for them. Again, you could say whether Inter really did play that good or Barcelona were just that abysmal in the attacking sense. With all the possession they had, all the nice, beautiful tiki-taki, they had no bite. You know, they were soft. So yeah, you know, it's what happens next for Inter. I'll be interested in the next couple of games domestically to see how they perform.
By the way, if you look at the group right now, it doesn't look good for Barcelona, even though they do have Inter at the Nou Camp in the next game. It's 3 points right now that they're sitting on. So it's starting to get a little bit risky for Barcelona when it comes to chasing that spot in the knockout stages.